will be the special meeting of the Glendale City Council.
Cut down the number.
Yeah,
That's his. Thank you. You're taking care of him. Mayor, we're ready.
ready. Okay. I'll call the special meeting of the Glendale City Council for February 14th to order. Roll call, please.
Council members Garpetian.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Sinanian.
Here.
Mayor Devine.
Yes, here. Next item.
The agenda for the February 14, 2017 special public meeting of the City Council was posted on Friday, February 10, 2017 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. For you is public hearing, Director of Community Development regarding Adams Square Business Improvement District. 1A is a resolution confirming the intention to modify activities within the Adams Square Business Improvement District and suspending assessments for the calendar year 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Ochoa.
Just very quickly, this is the item that we had brought before in terms of setting this hearing. We're looking to suspend the assessment again for, I forget how many years this is now. At some point, we'll have to make the determination whether or not we just let it go and just cancel the assessment altogether. But for now, the thinking remains that it's simply to extend the assessment, but not extend the district without extending the assessment, and rather just keep it in suspension until we have a better idea of how best to support Adams Square businesses and help them help themselves by way of this BID. So this is a public hearing. If you want to open that public hearing, take whatever testimony. The net result is that we would once again suspend the assessment.
I'll open the public hearing, but is there anyone here to, Mr. Garpetian?
Yes, it says resolution confirming the intention to modify activities within the Adams Square. What is that modifying? What are we modifying?
You're basically not going to assess, and thus you won't have any funds to utilize in pursuing economic development activities.
They used to have carnivals.
Yeah,
and
they
all
would
sorts
collect. The BID is
events.
set up to collect funds from the businesses, and they would use said funds to do carnivals, to do sidewalk sales, and do other kinds of promotions. This group has really, in the wake of, I guess this would be now 6 years following the redevelopment termination, that without the city's support standing behind it, kind of matching funds or at least giving a dedicated staff support to it, there hasn't been a desire on the part of the merchants themselves to continue the assessment. But by the same token, they haven't been quite willing as yet, at least spokespeople for those merchants, just to simply do away with it. They're hoping at some time in the future there will be some return of economic development funding the way that the redevelopment agency and economic development was operated in the past.
So they use the assessments to do the carnival and different activities?
Yes, they're much the way that Montrose does, much the way DGA is a little bit different animal because that's a property-based business improvement district, right. So the dollars are a little bit bigger, a little more latitude. But Montrose, and I want to say, does Kenneth have its own BID or no? Kenneth does not have its own BID. But under the Streets and Highways Code, they can vote to assess themselves. They have here, but at this point there's no stomach to continue that assessment. But there is at the same time no stomach to do away with the mechanics of that assessment.
Okay.
6 years ago. Is that how long it's been?
I want to say it's 6 years ago.
I attended one of those carnivals.
They had leadership. They had a lot of people, residents that were leaders and brought that to fruition.
Is there, other than levying and then not having anyone really interested in spending that money or really having a plan as to how to spend that money, is there anything the city can do to, do we not need to talk to someone, see if maybe there's something the city can do to?
The ironic part of this is that the vacancy rate in Adams Square is minimal. It's almost nothing. And so to the extent that we get regularly from folks from the Adams Hill HOA, for example, why don't you bring a really nice bar and grill pub for the neighborhood here? Unless we are willing to buy out, possibly forcibly buy out somebody's lease and remove the people that are there now and put somebody else in, there's really nothing for us to do other than the marketing that Jackie Bartlow and the rest of the economic development team is to say, hey, have you thought about Adams Square? Would you like to go to Adams Square? But in all honesty, folks will say, great, where do I go? And there really isn't that available space.
It's kind of more than space, right? It's sort of unwillingness to act in unison or act jointly to promote the businesses in the area.
Well, I mean, to the extent if you're looking at new tenancies that are there, it would be similar to the economic development programs we use in other parts of the city, because we identify if you had one of the restaurants that's there now on the square, if they came in and said, for example, hey, I'd like to expand my business, do this and that, the other with my business, they could be eligible. Heretofore, they really haven't been that interested in expanding the base that they have right now. That eats into this notion of, okay, let's go and promote, and we will promote kind of tangentially to other things that we're doing in town, but to the extent it is a very neighborhood-serving business district, it has its limitations.
Okay. They seem to be happy with the way
Yeah.
things are going.
The businesses actually relatively are. They're not the ones clamoring, but I think the neighborhood is saying we want more stuff like what you have in downtown Glendale, bring it here. And we're saying, okay, well, one, where? And two, have you engaged those businesses that are there on the square?
Yeah, the residents would like a more lively,
Some more lively,
Interactive,
some more
is that what they
trendy,
want?
perhaps.
Trendy.
And I think that trendiness factor cuts against the grain depending on which constituency you're talking to.
okay. Do I have a motion for this resolution?
Second. I'll move it.
Oh, sorry, close the hearing first. Okay, then a motion.
I'll move the item.
Second.
Roll call?
Council members Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes, next.
Motion to adjourn this special meeting?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.